Hello and welcome to What's Renew Yourself with Karma Cleansed Life. My name is Katya Rusanen and I will be your host. Today, we will talk about the polarities between masculine and feminine. And of course, we will talk about love. And I have here Barry Selby with me. He is a relationship attraction expert, and his clients also call him the love doctor. So you are about to have a treat and keep watching because you will discover how you can master the dance between the polarities, the masculine and feminine, and build a beautiful dance. So, welcome, Barry. Thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank
How
you,
are
Katya.
you?
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
It's fantastic to have you here because you have some incredible studies. You have studied 30 years of relationships, personal development. So that is huge. So, was there something specific that happened that led you to this path?
Um, well, let me do it on two levels because the truth is how I literally stumbled into the personal growth industry wasn't something we did intentionally as much as accidentally, I would say, because I was in the process of going through some career challenges when I came out to the United States after working in Europe for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working, I was actually contracting freelance with a friend of mine who I'd met. And we were talking one morning in a coffee shop before we went to work, and he looked really drained. It was the middle of the week, and I'm going, "You go partying last night? What happened?" And he said he went to a seminar. And I was like, "What is a seminar?" I had no idea what he meant. This is 1984.
Uh-huh.
And he said that it was this place where we got to learn some cool stuff, met some nice people, and there were some cute women. I said, "Where do I start?" Yeah, literally, that's how it started. Had I known what I was walking into, I would probably run away terrified at the time because I had no desire to learn stuff. But looking back, I'm so grateful I took that step because it changed my life. In fact, that very first seminar I took, 3 or 4 days into it, I did a process with another guy in the room. You chose someone the most challenging person you could meet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the walls dropped down. I started seeing myself and seeing other people for the first time clearly I'd never seen before. So it was the beginning of a transformational journey I've been on for the last 30 plus years.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny how the spirit works. Like, okay, let's get Barry to this path. Like, well, he's interested. Women. So there we go.
Spirit had a master plan. I totally get that.
That's how it works. And so now you work with clients and they call you even the love doctor. So could you tell a little bit more about your work?
Sure. Let me do let me do like a timeline sort of thing and go back a little bit first.
Uh-huh. Sure.
What I do mostly in my work now is I am a trusted confidant and a relationship attraction expert for strong, successful women.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in my teens, going back a bit, I was bullied at high school. That was probably one of the reasons I chose the personal growth journey because I felt wounded from when I was in high school. I didn't own it, but I didn't realize I was carrying that wound. So I used the personal growth to heal it.
Yeah.
But the thing was, during that time when I was being bullied, didn't feel safe around the guys because I was being bullied by them. But the women trusted me because I wasn't a tough guy. I didn't have it together. I was nice. And so they would come to me and cry on my shoulder when they had breakups or share their wounds and their hurts with me and their sob stories. And I was the guy who would listen to them. So very early on, I had this innate confidence, ability to be safe with women, which is one thing, they trusted me. But secondly, I started learning how to respond to them so they would actually get value from it.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything with that for many years afterwards. So flashing forward to 30 years in the industry of personal growth and development and everything else, I have a master's degree in spiritual psychology and all these things. And I'd had quite a few relationships over that time, but I still kept messing them up. You think, oh, this personal growth, I'll be smart, and I know it properly, and I'll be good at all this stuff. Not so fast.
But sometimes that's how we learn, and that's how we master it. And we are like, okay, learn from my mistakes.
And that's what put me into this work, really, is because we're learning all these mistakes and then learning how to resolve them. I realized that I was learning skills other people didn't know. So I sort of figured out that if I put this stuff together, I've been learning over 30 years, I can help some people. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I do. So it really was through my own mistakes and my own learning that taught me what I know now.
Mm-hmm. So as we are talking now the learnings, and that is something I'm fascinated about. So
Yes.
when it comes to the matters of the heart, what have been so far your biggest learning, biggest
Um,
lesson that you have learned?
I would say there's two, because they're very different but very important.
Go for it. You can have two.
Okay. Um, in my late teens, early 20s, in my early dating life, I noticed, and this is hindsight, by the way, looking back at my early dating life, I would happily meet a woman or a girl when I was teens, and we'd have a nice time, get together. I was a bit sexually repressed, so we didn't necessarily have sex very early on. But certainly we'd have a nice connection, and it'd be all nice, lovey-dovey, everything's great. And then a month to 3 months inside that time, we'd have an upset, an argument, a falling out, and I'd leave every single time. Hindsight showed me that basically I was copying my parents the best way now, because when my parents that I remember as a kid, again, my memory was telling me not necessarily what I saw, what was out there,
Yeah.
but what I saw. My parents never argued. My parents had this amazing relationship. It wasn't perfect by any means, and it was actually very codependent looking back, but they never argued. Not in front of the kids anyway. So in front of me and my brother, they were always unified, they were together, and it seemed like that's the way marriage should be.
Yeah.
So my programming was that relationships meant to be perfect, and if you had an argument, that wasn't a relationship. It was black and white, one or the other. So my big learning was that that wasn't true.
Yeah.
But the bigger the meta learning is that we all do this. We all take on our parental model of relationship and embed it in our consciousness, and then we live that way without knowing the difference. Whether it's abusive or an abandonment or addiction, whatever it is. In my case, it was basically no arguing. That was the rule that was built my relationship life around, and until I became aware of it, I couldn't change it. So that was a big one.
Wow.
The second, which is coming forward to the last 10 years, as I said earlier, after 30 years of personal growth, you think I'd have relationships down. I could do them perfectly. Not so much.
You're still here in the art school, so.
Exactly. Life continues. But 3 relationships in a row with people who I'd met, women I met through this conscious journey of evolution, the same thing happened. And that's the thing about being conscious. I became aware of the fact that the same thing happened 3 times. So I went, maybe it's not them, maybe it's me. That was the big awareness. But the realization is that I had done all this personal growth work and was so clear about service and being good and being nice that in my relationships, I was being in service, being good and being nice to my partners.
Oh, right. Yeah. And
these women were very strong, dynamic, powerful women who I was so clear that I wanted to make sure they were happy and they were pleased. So I would basically into the supplicant, into the nice role, the nice guy, the beta male, basically, where they were dominant in the alpha, I'd be in the beta without realizing it. And it wasn't a conscious choice, it was subconscious because I was programmed to be in this loving service place. What I didn't know at the time was I was abdicating my role as a masculine man. This was 2006, 2007. And thankfully, again, spirit-led, and I'm talking about the parallels of hysterical. I had basically after my last breakup said, okay, it's in me. I don't know what's going on. I need some help, please. Like beseeching spirit gods, show me a sign. In March 2007, I was walking out of a building, and this gorgeous woman was walking in. See, this women thing keeps showing up. She was blonde, tan, white sundress, and she was glowing. And I'd never seen anybody, so there's mosquitoes around you.
Yeah.
If I'm in LA, not so many over here.
Yeah.
She was glowing. It's almost like spirit put a neon sign over her head saying, talk to this woman. I'd never seen anybody glow before. I don't know if it really was that way, but I had this sense she was glowing. So I went up to her, and back in this 2007, my comfort level at talking to beautiful women wasn't very strong, but I had to talk to this woman because she was being pointed out to me. So I went up to her and said, it's going to sound crazy, but you're glowing. And can you tell me where you were? And she just cracked up and started laughing. We started talking, and it was kind of the best icebreaker I'd ever used, without knowing it. So she basically told me she'd go back from this retreat, which I went to later on, and discovered the whole understanding, this whole world of masculine and feminine polarity. And it changed my life. Because one of the most I learned so powerfully for me is how far out of alignment I was from my true essence. And so the work began to really come back to my core values, my true essence, and why I'm here. Because one of the things I learned is that I was off course in my life because I didn't have a clarity of mission or purpose.
Mm.
That's a whole other conversation. But the truth
Yeah.
was, I got clear about that. So that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, is helping other people to really learn to align to their true core values and then live in love.
Yeah, and that is like something I want to talk with you about, this dance,
Okay.
about the masculine and feminine. I
Yes.
know that's your specialty. So if somebody now is listening this and like, maybe I'm more on that side or this side. So how can we learn to dance that it's like more like within the rhythm of life, or however you say, like not stumbling the steps? So what would be your best tip for a person who now just listens to this and realizes like, maybe I need to do something here?
Well, there's a few things I want to put on the table just to frame this. So
Yeah.
first of all, masculine and feminine is not gender specific. So masculine is not necessarily male and feminine is not necessarily female. Masculine and feminine is a polarity, and we
Yeah.
carry both inside ourselves, like yin and yang. So we carry
Yeah.
both in ourselves. Masculine is more directive, more linear, more focused on one thing. The feminine is more about multitask and do lots of things. And depending on what we are in our day, we can do either one or the other. So that's natural inside of us. However, in the relationship paradigm, and this is general speaking because sometimes it's the other way around, but generally speaking, men tend towards the masculine, women towards the feminine. But the world doesn't always treat us that way. One piece I talk about with my clients, because a lot of my clients are women, being strong, successful women have been trained in the world to be in the masculine to get things done, because getting things done is a masculine energy.
Yeah.
Again, not necessarily male or female, it's a masculine energy. At the same time, the feminine energy is one of flow and grace and dance. Also, in the relationship conversations, come up a lot for me recently. The man is the one who goes out to pursue, to find his mate, to go seek her out. The feminine doesn't do that, even though she may do it as a habit. But true feminine energy doesn't do that. So when she's pushing and chasing a man, she tends to emasculate him.
Yeah.
She's doing a job for him. It's like, step back. The feminine's gift is the ability to get really clear and attract what she wants. The feminine energy is a very powerful energy. And for women who are in the feminine, they're very magnetic. They're very attractive to what they want. So the dance is really about what's your natural tendency, and then how do you really embody, express it. The thing about having both inside of us is that certain times of the day, we will be one or the other. When you're driving, most people are in their masculine because it's a directional energy.
Yeah, we need to get somewhere.
Also, and this is another thing which makes it the opposite of that, a sitting still meditation is also masculine, being present, being in stillness. That's energy, because feminine energy is movement. So yoga, dance is a feminine energy. So if we're actually, doing yoga classes, we're actually more in a feminine energetic. If you're listening to a teacher, you're in your feminine, you're being receptive. If you're the teacher speaking, you're in the masculine. So there's lots of examples in life where we'll be in different roles, independent of our gender, where we actually sit in ourselves. So the masculine and feminine continual dance. But in relationship especially, where it's important, because the masculine and feminine polarity, when it's at its extreme, is where the chemistry of magnetism really shows up for attraction.
Yeah. That is,
yeah,
I love that. Like, I'm like so fascinated when you talk about that, because I was just relating it to myself, and like how I use both of those energies, and like sometimes I know I need to get things done, so I'm more direct and like, okay, like focus to it. And then sometimes it's more feels like being in flow with life and being more like, okay, let's just see what comes to me instead of going to get them.
Right.
So that is so beautiful. So it's not only with the relationship, it can be even me, myself, and I doing the dance.
It's a way of life. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the relationship just compounds it.
Yeah. And then finding in the relationship, then finding the balance that the dance, it goes smoothly, like forward. And just thinking about this, because we have the polarities, and yes, we live in the world which is full of those. So what do you think is the biggest gift for having these two polarities, the masculine and the feminine?
Wow, the biggest gift.
I ask very big questions.
Yeah, it's like, Um, truthfully, I think we've neglected both for a long time. So the
Mm,
gift is time. In some ways, the gift is to really own and express them now more than ever. Because in the past, we've been in a very macho and, in some ways, for women being in a masculine or a macho version of the feminine too, and it's not been healthy. So
mm,
truly, the gift is for us now to own those respective roles in a very healthy and evolved way. What I'm
mm,
watching culturally speaking in our planet is, certainly politically, it's been a very entrenched, old format, undeveloped masculine energy.
mm,
Both men have been acting in the same space, and unfortunately, it's not helping anybody. I
mm.
believe that we evolve the masculine and feminine roles and we embody them more, that will change everything on the planet. So the gift is we can change the planet with it.
That's beautiful. Let's
Yes.
change the planet. I love that.
Yeah.
So, if there were one thing, and again, a big question, one thing that you could, one thing you could tell people to do that would help them start mastering this dance, mastering owning the both energies. So, beside of course contacting you, so what could it be?
um, I guess the biggest part is to not judge that you haven't got it right. First thing is, it's not
Mm,
tempting to say, well, it should be this or it should be that. It's like, no. The first step is to be okay where you are, because that gives you the space to open up to what's possible. The second part is really to explore and to feel what's most aligned. For most,
mm,
again, most men, masculine is the natural direction, but not all.
yeah,
There are actually very healthy heterosexual relationships where the man is feminine, the woman's masculine, but it's rare. It's not very common.
yeah.
Basically, it's the kind of one that, the way to define it is that if you want to be the one that takes charge in the bedroom, you're in your masculine.
Mm,
The one's been taken charge of in the bedroom, that's your feminine. That's
mm,
the way. Again, so it's not gender specific. And in a healthy relationship, they do switch roles once in a while for the fun of it. So
mm,
it's not, again, not hard and fast, locked
yeah.
in. But what's truly possible for us in the masculine and feminine, I think, is to really honor and respect ourselves and everybody we meet, to know that we're doing the best we can in where we are in our lives. So that's probably
Mm,
the biggest part we can do.
yeah, that's beautiful. So if people want to find out more about your work, so how can they contact you? Where can they find you and learn more?
Basically, the easy way to find me, because thankfully I learned a long time ago to do this, my website and my social media is all the same thing, which is my name, Barry Selby. So you go to my site, which is barryselby.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, LinkedIn, etc., all the same name. If you want to find out more about how to work with me, on my website, the first button in the navigation is Let's Chat. And you do that, we can talk.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Barry, for taking time from your busy schedule to do this interview. I just loved it. It was so interesting to find out more about this dance. And like now I have more awareness as well with my own dance moves, what I do every day. so,
Good.
so it's beautiful. So thank you.
My
And
pleasure.
all the people who are watching this, hopefully you found this interesting. If you did, please do comment below. We do check these comments, and I will also enter your website and your links below so you can find them there. So thank you for watching, and more things to come with Renew Yourself with Karma Cleanse Live. Thank you, and bye for now.
Bye.